All right, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in again for another Authors Impact Hub podcast. I am your host, Juanita Woodson, founder of the Authors Impact Hub. And today we have on with us a special guest. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about her book and her journey to becoming an author. So we have Miss Pamela on, right? I always let the authors do their own introductions. I don't think that anybody can say who we are better than ourselves. So I'm going to pass it over to you if you can just introduce yourself and let us know the book that we're going to be discussing.
Okay, my name is Pamela Linnell Smith White, but I go by Pamela Linnell for my writing name. So I just basically woke up one day and said, okay, I'm gonna write a book. And beforehand, I would think of something, write it down, or type it, and I would never go back to it. Then I would think of another idea a few months later, and it'd be something totally different than what I had before. So this time, I started. I got an idea. I stuck with it and went on from there. So
Yes, awesome. And what's the name of your book?
the name of the book is "The Flame That Never Goes Out." Um,
Okay.
yes, so it is semi-steamy.
Oh,
Um, um, it is about Jackson and Priscilla. They've known each other since they were young,
okay.
and they were very immature. Mostly him; he was very immature.
Sounds
And
about
right, and they kept going through a whole lot of things,
okay.
mostly from his doing, and she kept like breaking away from him, but at the same time she couldn't. They remained friends. They continued to remain friends, and for a while, that's kind of all she wanted. Uh,
Oh,
but she, but she kept. They kept running back to one another, and as time goes on, you'll see that he matures. You know.
okay. So this is a fiction book.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I love a good fiction book, right? I think that like being able to balance the self-help books, inspirational books, and then letting your mind just go free and having a book that can keep you entertained and engaged. I love it. So what inspired you to write The Flame That Never Goes Out?
Um, I'm very spontaneous. I just I'm very spontaneous. Like I say, I wake up and say, okay, I'm gonna do this,
Yes.
and then I do it.
Yeah.
And it's actually even the characters that I've made up. I just, I have their characters are they are someone. They are someone that I built
Okay.
the story upon. Um, so that's that's it. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to write. That's it.
Absolutely. I love that. And listen, when you write a book, you now have something that just is like it outlives you, right? Somebody will
Yes.
be able to come from years, be able to come and pick it up years later and see the fruit of your spontaneousness. So absolutely.
Yes.
So question. So I always ask this question when I have fiction authors on. Does any part of the book relate to your own personal life in any way?
So, with that being said, yes and no.
Okay.
So, no, the book is not about me. However, there are some things that are similar, not only to my own life, but those around me that I have encountered.
Okay.
And I took those pieces and just came up with a story.
Yes, yes. I love that because you get inspiration from the things around us. I think that as a writer, it definitely helps us to write. When we have those like moments of writer's block and we don't know what to put on the page, just think about all the people that are around us, our own
Yeah.
personal stories. Maybe it's not anything recent, but maybe things from the past. So absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit more about the characters, Jackson and Priscilla, and who are they?
So Jackson is well, I'll start with Priscilla. She's sweet, she's smart, she is beautiful, she's independent, She is focused, she's determined, but she's also heartbroken. And I don't elaborate too much on her being heartbroken. I just kind of vaguely mention,
Yeah.
um, how she felt, how, a breakup. But she is very determined.
Okay.
Um, Now that is me being very determined.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
is focused. She is working. She is thinking about going back to school. She's thinking about pursuing other things. So yeah, she um what I like about her is that she has so much wisdom at such a young age. Um it's like she seems naive, but she's more cautious than what you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um Now Jackson, on the other hand, he comes he comes off as a player, but he's very smart. He's very smart. He knows what he wants as well.
Okay.
And he goes from a boy to a man with knowing how to express his feelings, knowing how to express his emotions. You can see his maturity throughout the book. Um, he still acts like Jackson, however, he matures. He's focused on his education, and even though he comes off as this player in this book, he always has respect for Priscilla.
Okay.
Oh, and that is what that's kind of what I wanted to portray. Um, in a sense, even with all my characters, they all have great careers. They all come from great homes. Like you know, they're all successful. And I wanted to, I would rather present that more so
Yeah.
than, you know,
In a negative light. Yes.
yes.
I
Mhm.
like that. Absolutely. So, can you tell us a little bit about your own background, right? And how has your background kind of helped you in the way of writing the book?
Well, I'm a nurse now. Before that, I worked in retail for a while. So I saw a lot. I still see a lot.
Yeah.
The one thing that helped with this book, with being a nurse, I've worked in ICU, I've worked in psych, I have worked at the nursing home, and now I am a nephrology nurse. Um, but mental illness is not talked about enough, and it's not taken seriously enough. And I did incorporate that into my book. Um, it is not. Um, it's not a bad thing to seek help
Yeah.
when you have some type of mental issue, whether it be depression, anxiousness, or something even more serious. And in my book, it is a more serious mental illness discussed.
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of touch on that just a little bit in the book. So
Okay.
that was one inspiration.
Yeah, so your own background in working in the medical field, it was important for you to highlight kind of the mental health aspect in the book. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what that looks like because listen, a heartbreak do something to your mind, right? So I'm curious to know how you tied that in there. So what was the most challenging part about writing the book?
So, writer's block. I started writing this book in 2021,
Okay.
but because of the way I work,
Yeah.
um, it was hard. It was very hard.
COVID time too.
Yes, COVID time. Um, I would write. I think I wrote like maybe 10 chapters and stopped for a long time, and had to pick back up. And not
Wait
only,
a second. You said 10 chapters.
Mhm.
That's a lot though.
Yeah, I wrote 10 chapters and then had to go back and like, okay, and then even had to revamp some things
Yeah.
because then I changed my mind.
Okay.
So, so yeah, I mean, that was a challenge.
Okay.
Then incorporating different things like the mental illness, like, I wanted people to be able to relate to this book on every level. And, that was my goal, because I know when I read a good story or I'm even watching a good movie, you want to get pulled in, so you will continue to want to see what is next.
Yes, absolutely. Like, okay, I finished this book. Now, when is the next one
Yeah.
coming out? Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely. So, how did you overcome the writer's block? Because I know some people use different methods, like taking a break away from it. That is definitely something that helps. So, what worked for you other than taking a step back?
So that's basically what I did. I took a step back, or I would actually set aside a day to say,
Okay.
okay, I am going to write, and I would brainstorm. I would write down different things, or how I would want one thing to be. If I didn't like that, I would change it, and just go from there.
Okay, absolutely. So how do you balance? How do you balance? Because I know being a nurse is probably a very demanding job, right? So how do you balance now being a nurse and then also building a career as an author?
Yes, and also being a wife. So
Okay.
so my husband is very supportive, uh,
Okay.
of anything that I do, because he knows that I'm spontaneous, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, do this." He's like, "Okay." Um, so it's a challenge. However, you just have to set aside time. That's all. Set aside time and say, "Okay, I'm going to write for this amount of time, these many hours." Um, so that's basically it on that.
Yeah, so the time management is definitely a must when you
Yeah.
are building a career, a writing career outside of like your regular everyday life.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. And so what is your support system like? This is your first book, right?
This is my first book. It
Okay.
is. I am working on a sequel.
Okay.
But yes, this is my first book. And I do have a great support system. Um, like I said, my husband, my family, um, is a great support system. They were the first to not only run out and buy my book, but they are the ones that advertised it all over social media. So
Yeah.
yes,
Awesome. We love a good support system because I don't think anybody can really imagine unless they go through it how hard it is to
yes,
write a book, right, from start to
yes,
finish, and then go through the publishing process, and then you have to worry about the imposter syndrome that comes in, like, "Maybe I shouldn't push publish, maybe I
yes.
shouldn't do this." So did
And
you battle with any of that?
all of it. I
Okay.
did. I did. I wrote it, and then my publishers are great. My publishers and editors are great. They're Joy Follow and Sanaya. Well, right. I hope I'm saying that right. With Inspiring Ink.
Yes, come on, Inspiring Ink.
Inspiring Ink. Yes. They were so awesome. Um, they were so into the story,
Yeah.
and I would be trying to get them the chapters, and they'd be like, when is the next one? When is the next one? And I'm like, I'm coming, I promise. But they were so great. They proofread, sent back. So we went back and forth,
Yeah.
and in constant communication. And I think I read it so much towards the end, I kind of got scared, and I was like, I don't think I want to publish it. But they were both right. This is a
Yes.
great book. So I was like, okay. And it has been, it has been a success.
Yes, awesome. I love that. And having that good back end, so a great editor, a great publishing team from start to finish can help you, especially if this is your first time writing. So absolutely. So what was like your most what's the word I want to use? What was your most enjoyable moment through the process?
Ah, I guess when I finally saw the finished product of the cover
Yes.
and the back cover, because that made me know it was real.
Real.
So yeah, I was very proud of myself, for sticking through, sticking through it to the end and seeing the finished product.
Yes, absolutely. So, is there any advice that you can give to someone who's thinking about writing a fiction book? Maybe something that you struggle with and then you overcame that because now you're published.
Well, I feel with all things that I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. So if you want to do it and you feel like you can do it, then you can do it through Christ that strengthens you. Like there is, as long as you have breath in your body, you can do whatever it is, whatever talent that God has given you, you can you can do it.
Yes, absolutely. So I heard you mention you slid in there that you're working on a sequel.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am. It is a sequel because this book ends on a a, a cliffhanger.
And that's what we love.
And
Okay.
so, and so anyone that has read this book is like, when are you gonna finish? When are you gonna finish? I am trying. I'm not gonna promise, but I am trying to finish by Christmas.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
So a quick turnaround with the sequel. So you don't
I'm,
leave it hanging too long.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Like again, I'm not promising.
Yeah. Okay. So what was like your favorite scene in the book?
Ah, that's my favorite thing.
That's hard because you wrote it.
Right. It is some parts that I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But it is some parts that I really like. I guess more towards one of the proposals. That's what I say. One of the proposals in the book.
Okay. And so good. I'm glad you phrased it that way because now you have to go and get the book. You have to go and get the book so you can see which proposal
Yes.
think is her favorite, and then you could decide which one is your favorite. Absolutely. I love that. So, even with writing fiction, there's a message in anything, right? I think that any book that you read, you can find a positive message in it. So, what do you think is the positive message from this book?
The message of the book is, but really and truly, sometimes there are obstacles. Um, and every hurt is a brick to success, which I have in my book. That is one of the phrases that I have, because even though it was a lot that happened within this within this story, and I'm not going to give it away,
Yeah.
but it 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 comes out decent at the end. So everything that was gone through, it was it turned out to be successful.
Yes.
So I guess in essence, what I'm saying is, just because you have a disappointment or just because something is not quite how you wanted it to be,
Right.
um, you'll look back and say, okay, now I see why that happened. And it actually will help you rather than hurt you.
Yes. He makes all things work together for our good.
For our good, yes.
Yes, when you were saying that, that's what was going through my mind. It was making me think about like moments of my own life. Like, okay, I didn't understand why I was going through it when I was
Yes.
going through it, but looking back now, it's like, huh, okay, I see. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And then how can we connect with you on social media, your website? How can we get a book from you?
So I I was going to send you a link um to get to go directly to my book. It is on Amazon Prime. I do have an Instagram page. It's a personal page, but then I also have a TikTok page. I'm not on Facebook. I'm currently going to get on Facebook with a professional page.
Okay.
And it will be under the name Pamela Laniel.
Yes, yes. I love that. That because that means you have more books coming out. So
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for taking this time out. So I cannot end the show without asking this final question. And that is, so what impact do you want your books and your words to leave on the world?
Oh, I really I just want people to be entertained and learn from the few jewels that I drop in the book. And if you read it and you think about it, you'll catch the jewels that I've put in the books.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, listeners, make sure that you connect with Miss Pamela Linnell. Do you know when the Facebook page is coming? Because we want to make sure that we can connect our audience with the Facebook. And then what's your TikTok and your Instagram?
My TikTok is Pamela Linnell.
Okay.
Um, and my Instagram is Miss Linnell Baby.
Okay. Yes. So make sure that you go and follow her. Head to Amazon and grab a copy of the book. And don't just grab a copy. Leave a review. Listen. Reviews help authors get bumped up, right? We think about the algorithm of social media. So think about that on Amazon. So the more reviews that authors have, the more people are able to see their work. So reviews are imperative. They help that next reader to pick it up. So we want to make sure we leave a review and then also connect on social media. And until next time, that's all we have for today. Take care.